Hi everyone, I'm Bethany with Texas Women's University Fitness and Recreation, and this is Summer Pilates. So I'd like to remind you guys that as we get started, please have water that's adequate for your body. Listen to your body as we continue through our Pilates practice and take breaks as you see fit. So let's begin. We'll start lying on our back, and just in case you may need it, grab a yoga block if you have one, or a small pillow. We'll use that later. But we'll come to a reclined position. We'll take the knees bent to the ceiling and the feet about sits bones or back of the hip that you sit on, sits bones distance apart. And then we'll take the hands and we can leave them on the rib cage. We're going to start with our breathing. We're going to take a big breath in. And then on the exhale, we're going to feel everything funnel down. And we're going to pretend we're blowing out candles on a birthday cake. So we'll breathe in, feeling the rib cage expand, including downward into the back of the floor or the mat. And we'll exhale. Feel everything funnel down. One more breath here, breathing in and out. Everything funnels down. All right, we can take the hands to the side of the hips, palms facing down on the mat. And we're going to start by rocking our pelvis forward and back, lengthening the spine, and then kind of flattening it gently toward the mat, but not swooshed all the way. Rocking forward and back, and then finding that middle place, which is going to be our neutral, where the front of the hip bones and the front of the pubic bone are all in the same plane. Then we're going to take a breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, we're going to tilt pubic bone in just slightly, so that it is a little bit above the front hip bones here. And then we'll inhale to lengthen that spine back out to neutral. So not squishing all the way here so much as just flattening a little bit. All right, let's take two more. Inhaling to prepare, and then exhaling, tilting the pelvis. Inhaling to lengthen, and then again, curling in on the exhale, and then inhaling to lengthen. Going the other way with our breath. We'll take a breath in and out to prepare. And then we'll inhale as we tilt that pelvis in using the lower core. And then exhale, lengthen back out to neutral. Inhale, tilt. And exhale, return to neutral. Last time, inhale. And then exhale, lengthen that spine back to neutral. We will come back to that breath pattern with the pelvic tilts later on in our workout. But for now, we'll enter our leg slides. Starting on the right leg, we'll inhale to lengthen, pointing that toe down the floor of the mat. And then we'll flex at the ankle and exhale, hamstring curl and drag that ankle in, releasing the toes. Inhale, lengthen down the mat. Exhale, drawing it in on that same side. Once more, inhale, lengthen the toes down the mat, and exhale, draw it in. Switching to the left leg. Inhale, lengthen the toes out. Exhale, flex at the heel, draw back in, hamstring curling. Again, inhale, lengthening on that left leg, and exhale, draw it in. And last time, inhale, lengthen with the pointed toe, and exhale, hamstring curl with a flex. All right, we'll begin alternating, and as we alternate, start to draw your awareness to here in your pelvis. Today's focus is pelvic stability and mobility and glute engagement activation. So what we're looking for here is a stable pelvis as opposed to wobbly hips rocking back and forth. Let's begin on the right side. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale. Hamstring curl it in. Switching to the left. Inhale, lengthen with the pointed toe. Exhale, draw it in with a flex. Switching to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flex and draw in. And left side last time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, draw it in. All right, from here, we'll roll over carefully to our stomach. We'll take those legs, keep them roughly the same, sits bones distance apart, and turn them out at the hip joint here. Then we can take the hands, stack them on top of one another, and rest the forehead on top. I'll be turned to address you guys, but again, you'll be here. Now, with your core, think of drawing that belly button lightly in and up away from the floor and towards the back of your spine. And think about the glutes here, squeezing lightly together and softly up your back. Now we're going to begin lifting one leg at a time, starting with the right leg. Except for I'm going to do my left because it's closest to you, and I want to make sure you guys can see. So we'll inhale, lengthen and lift, and then exhale, softly lower. Working through that glute and hamstring connection. That's what we feel contracting. Inhaling as we lengthen the leg through a pointed toe to lift, and then exhale, softly lowering down. Last time on this side. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, lower it down. Switching to the left side. Inhale, lengthen that toe and leg until it lifts through that glute hamstring connection. And then exhale, softly lowering. 2 more times here. Inhale, lengthen and lift. And then exhale, softly lower. And the last time, inhale, lengthen and lift. And exhale, softly lower. Much like we just did with the leg slides, we'll begin alternating, starting on your right, my left. We'll inhale, lengthen that leg to lift, and then exhale, lower it down, switching to the other side. Inhale, lengthen and lift, and then exhale, lower it down. Then again, inhale, lengthen and lift, exhale, softly lower. And last time, last side, inhale, lengthen and lift, and exhale, softly lower. Now we'll lengthen and lift, and we will keep them lifted. So beginning with the right leg, we'll inhale, lengthen and lift, exhale, hold, inhale, and then exhale, flex through that heel. Take it toward the back of the hips. So we've got a nice hamstring curl here, keeping the knee where it was in space. So it's also lifted lightly away from the mat. And then we'll lengthen through a pointed toe on an inhale. And then we'll exhale, hamstring curl in. Inhale, lengthen, and then hamstring curl in. We'll take one more. Inhale, lengthen, and then hamstring curl in. And then lengthen it through a pointed toe, back down to the mat. All right, 4 on that side, 4 on the other side. Inhale, lengthen and lift on the left. Exhale to hold. Inhale, and then exhale, flex it in, heel toward the back of the hips. Then inhale, point and lengthen. Again, exhale, keeping that knee lifted. And then inhale, lengthen out for 2. 2 more. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen, still pulling that belly button away from the floor. And last one, exhale. And inhale, lengthen it out. All right. Now we'll keep both legs up together. So, starting on the right. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, hold. Left leg, inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, hold. Take a breath in. And then exhale, flex those heels, draw both in. And then at the hip joint, see if you can open out your knees just a tiny bit wider while still keeping the heels together and the feet flexed. Now we'll take a breath in. So drawing that belly button away from the mat and squeeze those heels together. So we can feel this a lot, but we probably can't see a lot happening. That's okay. We'll hold this squeeze for 3, 2, 1. Release the squeeze, but still keep those knees in that same lifted position where they are. Take a breath in. Exhale, squeeze those heels in. Don't let them lengthen out. Keeping them in, holding here for 3, 2, and 1. We have one more. Take a breath. Exhale, squeeze those heels together, holding 3, 2, 1. Keep that squeeze. We're going to press them toward the ceiling, pressing up for 5. It's a small movement. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen them out through a pointed toe, and then release everything back down to the mat, and give it a little bit of a shake. We're going to flip over onto our backs. Once more time, nice and careful. Feet sits bones distance apart, knees to ceiling. We're going to go into some hip release work. So, beginning on the right side, we'll take those palms down on the mat on either side of the hips, but if you feel kind of squished or like you're hitting your hands and you're uncomfortable, you can also open them to a low V if that works for you. But we will, together now, inhale and open out, letting the knee come out to the side. We'll keep inhaling as we lengthen the leg, still in the same line with the body, so not coming out. Then we'll exhale as we rotate back to neutral, knees and toes toward the ceiling, and keep exhaling as we draw it back in with a soft foot. Wonderful. Let's take 2 more. Inhaling to open, keeping those hips nice and stable, not wobbly, and lengthen. Then we'll exhale to parallel and draw in. Let's take 1 more. Inhale, open. Keep inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, rotate to parallel and draw it in. Switching to the other leg, opening out. Inhale, open. Keep inhaling to lengthen, keeping the hips stable. Exhale to parallel and draw it in. 2 more. Inhale, open. Keep inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, rotate to parallel and draw it in. Last time. Inhale, open. Lengthen. Exhale and draw back in. Switching to the first leg, we're going to go the opposite direction with the same breath pattern. So we'll begin, again, keeping the hips nice and stable. Inhaling to lengthen the leg in line with the body down the mat. We'll inhale as we rotate at the hip joint here, and then we'll exhale as we bend the knee in that same position and drop back to center. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, lengthening out. Keep inhaling to rotate laterally. Exhale, bend the knee and draw it into center. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. Keep inhaling to rotate. Exhale, bend and draw it in. Switching to the other side. We'll inhale, lengthen that leg in line with the body, keeping the pelvis stable. Rotate laterally on that same inhale. Then exhale, bend the knee in that same position. Keep exhaling to draw that knee back to center toward the ceiling. And 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Keep inhaling to rotate. Exhale, bend, and then draw it in. And last one. Inhale, lengthen, rotate, and then exhale as you bend, and draw it in. Now from here, we'll come to our sides. And we've got our yoga block just in case. Now the yoga block is to keep our cervical spine and head all in line with the rest of the spine here. So if you don't have a yoga block, it's okay. You can cradle your head here. And we've got our knees bent. They're in line with the hips. Now they're in line with the hips. And then the ankles are in line with the knees. The main thing with the block or the cradling of the head is we want to avoid the position here. So if you're using a pillow or yoga block, you'll want it to be further back so that when you rotate and take your gaze with you, you're rotating still supported by something as opposed to rotating back and off. So we're checking in with our bodies. We are in line with the head, chest, and spine. And then we're going to take our top arm out in line with our shoulder, going into our twist, and we're going to inhale and float that arm up so that it's an extension of your pecs and chest. And then we're going to keep inhaling as we rotate, only as much as our obliques can support us. So our bottom oblique here is drawing away from the floor. We're feeling everything cinch in. And we're going to hold for an exhale. We're going to hold for an inhale and an exhale. Then we'll take a last inhale and then we'll exhale. Use the obliques to close you back here to the start. So I like to think of this as a like wringing out a cloth. All right, let's take two more. Let's inhale, float the arm up. Keep inhaling to rotate through a stable core. Hold to exhale and to inhale and exhale. Then one last inhale and then exhale. Hand and face come back to the start position. All right, last one. We're doing awesome, y'all. Let's inhale, take it up. Keep inhaling to further rotate through those obliques. Exhale to hold. Inhale and exhale to hold. One last inhale. And then exhale. Float it back down. All right. Let's do one more because I can't remember if that was 2 or 3. I think it was 2. Here we go. Inhale, take it up. Keep inhaling to rotate. Full breath in and out. Still maintaining the contraction of the obliques. And then one last inhale. And then exhale. Use the obliques to rotate you back to center. Got myself in the Pilates trance. Got what I was doing. Well, I didn't forget what I was doing. Forgot what number I was on. But if you've taken my bar classes, you know counting to 4 and 8 is sometimes a challenge for me, but we're going to work on it together. And setting up on the other side, same business. Heels in line with the knees, knees in line with the hips. Check in with your body. I like to just look down and see what's happening. And then if we're using a block or a pillow, moving it to the other side, and then making sure as we rotate that there's somewhere we can rotate back to. And then we can take the top arm in line with the chest and shoulder, and we'll begin our rotation again. Inhaling, floating the arm in line with the chest here, and then we're going to keep inhaling to rotate through the obliques, bottom oblique pulling away from the mat. And then we'll exhale to hold. Inhale to hold. Exhale to hold. And then we'll inhale. And then we'll exhale. Use those obliques to rotate you back to the start position. Let's take 2 more. Inhaling as we float the arm up. Gaze is going with that hand. We'll keep inhaling to rotate through those obliques. Exhaling to hold. We'll take a full breath in and out. Maintaining that tone on that core. And then we'll inhale. And then we'll exhale. Use the obliques to rotate you back to the start position. Let's take a last one. Inhaling. Gaze follows that palm. Keep inhaling as you rotate. And then exhale to hold. Inhale. And exhale. One last inhale. And then exhale. Drop back to that start position using the core. Yay! Yay! That one has always been a personal challenge, so I'm super glad that we did it together. We won't need the block anymore for right now. We can set it to the side. Let's come back to our backs one last time. Knees to ceiling, sits bones distance apart. Palms will frame either side of the hips. All right, we'll begin in a neutral spine, so we've got the sensation of that lumbar curve here, our natural low back curve. And then we'll take a full breath in and out to prepare. Checking in, making sure everything feels good and supported. Feeling that belly funnel down toward the spine. And then we'll take an inhale as we begin to tilt the pelvis toward us in those pelvic tilts or imprint tilts that we worked on at the beginning. And then we'll keep curling on an exhale to a nice diagonal position here, keeping the backs of the shoulder blades on the mat. So if you've done bridge in yoga where you're here, that is a thing, but we're actually here with the full flat part of the shoulder blades still on the mat and the glutes squeezing us into that diagonal shape here. We'll inhale to hold at the top, and then we'll exhale, starting at the sternum right here in the chest. We'll start to curl it down, one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll make contact with the very back of the hips and release those guys last. Then we'll inhale as we tilt that pelvis. And then we'll exhale. Begin to curl the spine up off the floor of the mat, keeping the shoulder blades on the mat or the floor. We'll inhale at the top. And then we'll exhale. And curl that spine down one vertebrae at a time, releasing the hips last. All right, keep going, inhaling to tilt that pelvis, and then exhale, curl it up, one vertebrae at a time. Inhale, and then exhale, slow and controlled, roll it back down. And check out the knees. My knees are wobbling because this is challenging for me. We want to keep them parallel and keep them from opening out or falling inward. All right, let's get two more here. Inhaling as we tilt the pelvis. Exhaling as we curl everything up. That nice diagonal shape, squeezing the glutes. Inhaling. And then exhaling. Rolling one vertebrae at a time, keeping this pelvic curl for as long as possible until we finally need to carefully lengthen out to neutral. One last time, inhaling as we tilt the pelvis, and then exhale, curling it up to that nice diagonal shape, inhaling at the top, and then exhaling with control, rolling that spine back down, one vertebrae at a time, releasing the hips last, back to neutral. Now from here, we can flex one foot at the ankle, stack it on top of the opposite thigh, and then reach through this little keyhole to lace the fingers, or if you would like more, you can come around the shin. And then we'll begin first by thinking of pressing the hips back into more of a neutral position. So I curled a lot in the hips here, but what I want to do is think of lengthening them out, keeping the flex on that top foot. And if I'm not getting a stretch here, I can also flex the foot and take it up, but my hamstrings are tight and I'm definitely getting a stretch. So I'll stay here in my reclining pigeon pose, just letting those hips have a little bit of time to get some extra stretchy attention. We'll breathe comfortably. And then we can release the thread of the fingers, let that foot come to the floor. We can take opposite hand to the ankle and let everything rotate over so that the bottom leg is flat to the side on the floor. On the top leg, the foot is on the floor. You can hold the ankle gently for stability if you would like, and then the free hand can go into a goal post, out to a T, or simply rest comfortably on the hips. And for today, we'll just let the gaze remain at the ceiling. Breathing nice and comfortably in our reclined rotation. Still feeling that belly draw in. On each exhalation. Then we can carefully unwind back to center, unstack, and then we'll restack. Flexing that foot of the ankle, stacking it on the center of the other thigh, and then reaching around to carefully thread the fingers. And here again, thinking of drawing that spine into a more neutral shape. Pressing the bent knee away, gently supporting the back of the thigh as it comes in toward the chest. So you're making your own resistance here. Breathing comfortably, feeling the hips get a little bit of stretchy goodness. Take a last breath in and out here. And then we can release the hold of the back of the thigh on an inhale, exhale, opposite hand, opposite ankle, just to get us rotated. And the gaze goes to the ceiling as we maintain our reclined rotation. And again, the free arm can go out to a T, into a goal post, or I've chosen to just rest the hand comfortably on the same hip. And each time you breathe, you feel that core lightly draw in toward that spine to support you. Breathing in comfortably, but noticing your body's natural tendency to support you on that exhale. We'll take one last full breath in and out in this position. And then let's take a breath in to prepare. And exhale. Return back to our everything facing up position. Unstack our flexed foot. And let's come back over to our stomachs for one last stretchy stretch. As we spent all that time focusing on glute and hip activation, we're going to take a gently pointed foot and bend the knee to bring it in toward the hip. The hip is wanting to gently come down toward the floor, and our belly button is wanting to draw lightly in away from the floor, as the glutes are wanting to squeeze lightly together and up. So just like we did when we did all of this work here, same sensation. We're here, and then we may be with a hand supporting the forehead here and just reaching. This is fine as long as you are feeling gentle stretch here. If you would like a little bit more, you can reach toward and grab the foot. You can also take a yoga strap, but either way, here we're still feeling the same activation as we press the front of the hip in, lengthening out through that quad, and then we're going to take a big breath in here, and then exhale. Think of pressing the toe up to the ceiling away from the back of the hip. So you can see I didn't go very far, and that's fine. And this shoulder is having the sensation of coming up, back, and reaching down. And we'll hold here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the strap or your foot, and we'll switch out to the other side. Thinking of belly button coming up away from the mat, hip pressing gently and lightly down in the front, glutes coming up the back, lightly together. Shoulder coming up, back and down. And then taking a big breath to prepare. And then exhaling as we press that toe up toward the ceiling and press the foot into the hand. And we'll hold here in a half bow for 5, 4, still breathing, 3, still feeling the belly button draw in toward the spine, 2, and 1. Carefully release the hold of the foot and lengthen the leg. Take the hands to frame the chest, and then we're going to press up and slide the knees in at the same time. Breathing into your bear, and then exhale, coming in, or if you just want to kind of step it in, this works. We'll take a big breath in our shell pose here with everything rounded, and then we'll exhale, feel the abs drawing in, and then let's inhale, carefully stack that spine up, and if you're rotated like me, I want to turn and face you guys so that we can take our last Pilates breath together. We'll take the palms facing out. We'll inhale, take everything out, and then exhale, take it down. Thank you guys so much for joining me for our first virtual mat Pilates of summer 2021. I'm Bethany with Texas Women's University Fitness and Recreation. And make sure you hydrate throughout the rest of the day because we got a lot of work done and a fair amount of stretching. And if you guys have questions, requests, drop us a comment below. Thanks, you guys. Have a great summer.